Hi, I'm Suzanne Henriksen, a researcher and storyteller by trade and a world explorer, drink local enthusiast by heart. I'm traveling the world to celebrate and share the people, the process, the stories, and the innovations behind craft alcohol, and I can't wait to share our amazing finds with all of you. So let's get drinking, Crafty Cask style. We are at West Branch Malts and Distillery here in Ohio, and we just had an amazing tasting and tour. This is Tom. Say hello. He
Hello.
showed us around. He's the owner, brainchild, founder, everything behind this. Yeah. So we just had a lovely tasting. I'm gonna sneak behind. Come show. We're gonna break the rules for a minute and just show you everything we tasted here. So what's really cool in this tasting is that they are using 100% malt for everything that they're making because they're a malt house. And so they're malting everything here on site. And so of course that's what they would use for their source material. And it makes for really interesting, unique spirits. This vodka, a lot of people think, vodka tastes like nothing. It's just kind of like whatever. It has some complexity. It has some nice mouthfeel. It's really fun. The chocolate, another one of our favorites. We loved all of them, but this chocolate, so fun to make kind of espresso martinis or fun little drinks like that. The whiskey is an American single malt, right? Because they're using malt. And so those are pretty hard to find, especially craft makers. So it's a really great single malt. So many fun things that they're making here. So how long has your tasting room been open?
Year and a half.
Year and a half?
Yeah, just right around when COVID hit.
How's it been going? Were you able to stay open during it, or did you have to close for a while?
Yeah, we were called essential.
Right. Because of hand sanitizer?
Yeah, unlike
did you guys shift to
Pennsylvania
making...
where they shut down all liquor stores and people were flooding across the borders.
Was it because, did you guys shift to making hand sanitizer during?
Well, we were doing that,
yeah.
But also the malt is a food product, and so we were essential there.
Yeah, that's really quite lovely. I wasn't a vodka drinker for so long. Like I was more of a gin girl until I started finding vodkas that had a little fun and character and mouthfeel. And I just love that thicker viscosity that craft vodkas are starting to have. But it is funny, I find when I introduce my vodka loving friends, they have to figure out where it fits in their drinks, because like a vodka soda with something that has a little character doesn't just taste like water anymore. Like it has a little flavor.
My vodka soda tastes weird. It
Yeah.
has flavor.
And I'm like, it tastes
not used
better.
to that.
Yeah.
So the chocolate that you're using, is this something that you're doing? You mentioned
No,
coffee,
this is,
industrial coffee.
if you're familiar with Sovereign out in California. Sovereign flavors.
That sounds familiar.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's all, it's TTB approved. That's
Gotcha.
the key
Gotcha.
point.
Yeah.
You can't just go throwing stuff in there. TTB's gotta like it. So.
Yeah, I feel like the beer industry has it a little bit easier with partnering with the local chocolatier or the local coffee roaster.
Sure.
Like the regulations are different, but for spirits, it's very, that smells. It smells like dark chocolate brownies.
So smooth.
I haven't even tried it yet, but it smells delicious.
Which of these, you might have mentioned this before, is there one that's like a crowd favorite and then one
Well,
that you personally the other?
the two that are in state stores, because they are crowd favorites, are our whiskey and the chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah, that chocolate
That's
is
good, right?
amazing.
And then one you're particularly...
Yeah, what's your favorite? What's your
I know favorite's such a
I know.
bad question.
We always joke that we have no favorite children, but what's your bottle
Oh,
that you
mine.
pick up,
Most
that you
proud
pick
of.
up the
Well,
most
here's the
often?
thing. That's a tough choice
Yeah.
because I formulated all of them.
Yeah, it's hard to
And,
pick your favorite.
The only one that I really dislike is because it's the one that I didn't formulate. I reformulated, but it's still not dull enough. Is the cinnamon. You'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Okay.
It's one of those things where you got to be somebody who likes hot stuff.
Sure.
Right?
How about this question? If you could only drink one of these for the rest of your life.
No, it'd be the whiskey.
Yeah.
The whiskey.
Okay.
I didn't mentioned before with the coffee, I had to look at the label because I was like, I feel like there's a little vanilla going on in here, and I love vanilla coffee. Like that's my favorite. So
I
that's
bet
really
those
nice.
two together.
The
are
coffee
really
with the
nice.
vodka.
Coffee with the chocolate.
Make some,
Oh, and the
make an awful nice white Russian.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Sure.
With probably far less sugar than you're gonna find in a Kahlua-based
Oh.
one.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing, you don't need to simple syrup yourself to death, you know?
Yeah. We get enough sugar in our processed food in the grocery store.
Well, it's not to say there's no sugar here,
Sure.
but the thing is that it's kind of like the coffee's got to come through, the chocolate's got to come through. You know, your teeth falling out of your mouth does not have to come through.
Right.
So this, you know,
And if you're using high quality flavoring components,
Right.
you don't need sugar to mask like the artificial characteristic of
Of the flavor,
of the less
right.
high quality flavoring.
yeah.
Honey's really interesting.
Yeah,
That would be
it's
amazing in a hot
very
toddy.
bright in the honey.
Yeah, it is. But it's not sweet. It's a little sweet.
Sure,
But it's
yeah.
like that bright
It's
honey
more of the
flavor.
flavor than
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it
it's really
doesn't
fun.
make your teeth fall out.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the,
for sure.
some honeys
Yeah,
are just, oh my God. You know,
that would be great in a hot toddy though.
Mhm.
Like, perfect for hot toddies.
Should I do the honey
Smells.
or
It
the
reminds me of
spiced
something. I
apple?
can't place it with spiced apple.
All right, can I do a
It
bottle
smells
of
really
spiced apple?
That's what I'm tasting right now. Look at you're like reading my mind. I
Love
guess
it.
that's a good
Anything else?
endorsement.
No, that'll do it.
okay, would you like that, Nick?
Yes, please. I think the coffee is my favorite.
Uh,
We're huge cider fans.
huge
What?
cider.
Huge cider fans.
Ah,
So
okay,
this
so
with some cider would be amazing.
Yeah, can you just like amp up the cider
Yeah,
a
some
little
hard
bit?
cider with
Yeah, that
some-
5% cider maybe isn't gonna do it because it's been a long Monday.
Add a little spiced apple whiskey to it. What are you guys doing with the spiced apple? How do you drink it? Do you just drink it?
This one's a gift, but yeah, I would do it with like apple cider.
Yeah, for sure.
34.2.
I think it'd be just good over ice
Yeah,
too, like as an
for
after
sure.
dinner sipper.
Over ice, just fine with me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's yum.
I'd pour that in an apple pie.
Oh, a
And
little drizzle.
Stir it
A little
up, stir it
drizzle on
all
your apple
over.
pie. Yeah, I feel like the honey and the spiced apple make a hot toddy.
Yeah.
Would be
Mixed together too,
Yummy.
yeah, for sure.
yummy.
All right.
American single malt. Mmm.
Yeah, I can't think of but maybe two other producers
Yeah.
offhand that do a single malt. And both of them are like within the last year or two.
I think some bigger brands are starting to like realize this is a thing, but craft, yeah, there aren't a lot of.
You can really overwhelm your spirits
For
with
sure.
And as a matter of fact, that's something that Vic just saved. This is 5 months.
Okay.
Okay, that's what we do, and because with whatever we're doing, we got a barrel out there that's 6 months, and we're losing this taste
Yeah.
at 6 months.
Okay.
So we will use the 6-month-old in the spiced apple and the honey and the cinnamon, but the 5-month is what's going in the bottle.
Mhm.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
we can't make it taste any better than it is. You can't go down any smoother than it is. The notes that he detects, at this point versus what he detected in the 6 months,
Sure.
it's much nicer here. So I'm surprised you can get it. You think it's less than a year, but it certainly is less than a year.
And we don't say that as a bad thing either, because
No.
it's funny. So we do a lot of whiskey tastings for corporate clients, and we're always trying to bust myths. And one of the myths that a lot of people have is the older the whiskey, the better, right? And so we're always teaching people that there's different layers of flavors and aromas, and some of those are coming from the source material, and some of those are coming from the barrel. And it's a preference. And if you like the taste of like grainy, cereally whiskeys, you actually don't want a super old whiskey. You want something that's just getting like a kiss of the barrel. It's funny, we both really had to like change our perceptions about flavored alcohol at all, because for so long the only people making flavored alcohol were the big brands, and it was like whipped cream flavored crap. It's like chemically delicious. But now that it's
Actual
artisan
ingredients.
craft makers are using real kind of flavorings and real ingredients to make things. Like, it's really fun to have some flavored things to play around with for cocktails.
Well, the thing is, it would
It
be
smells just like a
you know,
strawberry.
it would be so much lower proof in past days, and would be so much higher sugar content in past days. It really was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. This, you got something to work with. You can make some good cocktails out of it.
That is so interesting. Yeah, because what's the proof on this?
120.
Ooh. 120.
Put some chest hair on your chest hair.
That's a big strawberry right there.
But again, keep in mind, it's 120 proof, and you're not
Yeah.
having a real problem with it.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, it's still smooth for sure. Yeah, the strawberry comes out a little bit more when you proof it down a tiny bit. Yeah, that's fun. But I like when there's higher proof things because like for cocktails, it's really fun to be higher proof. But then if you want to sip on it straight,
Well,
you can proof it down a little.
what the people really use that for, with lemonade.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah,
Strawberry lemonade.
that really is nice. You've got a distiller. You want to work with him. You want him to have his ways. Some 3 of these bottles, the cinnamon, the honey, and the apple spice, were the way that he liked them. Now you got to understand. Let me tell you a little story about the cinnamon. There were 3 times the dosage of cinnamon in the original product
From this?
from this.
Wow.
Now, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. But it's like, well, no, that's what you're supposed to do. So, the gal who's our distiller now, her husband supposedly likes stuff really hot. It's kind of like, give me the extra hot.
Yeah.
She took home, I said, somebody else has got to do this besides myself because I just can't keep arguing with Scott, was his name. Can't keep arguing with him about this. Somebody else has got to do it. Okay, Scott. So Colleen's going to take it home for her husband, Tim, to taste. Okay, and let's see what he thinks about it because he wants nothing. If it's not making him sweat, he's not hot enough.
Suicide wings, etc.
Right. So she took it home. He about heated his cookies. It burned him so bad.
Huh.
So that was kind of allowed me to take 2/3 of the flavoring out and still,
Have something that has plenty of kick to it.
Yeah, and it's still, but the thing is that there is another cinnamon that is not hot like this that was very nice, and that would be, oh yes, let's sit around the Christmas fire and let's drink our hot toddies.
Yeah.
This is not hot toddy. So, but like I say, I'm happy with all of our flavors now, with the exception of this. But since people that really
There's a
like
market
hot
for it.
stuff,
Yeah.
I can't change the formula now.
Sure.
So it is what it is.
Yeah, it would be a different product. I think the only thing I would think of doing is adding a little bit more sugar maybe, and that would kind of round out the spice, but then it would be a different product. It would be a different, and the people who really like it now might not like that.
Yeah, and if they want more sugar, they got simple syrup on the shelf all over the place. So,
Yeah, exactly.
so I'm just gonna leave it alone. I got these, the honey and the spiced apple are where I want them, so we're good. So I don't, other than this, you guys didn't really, and you didn't totally turn your nose up at this, but so we have some reasonably
really solid
nice
stuff.
spirits.
Yeah,
that-
I think these are
absolutely.
great.
Yeah, especially, your story with, none of you having background in this, starting a malt house and then starting a distillery as well. Like, that's ambitious, and to only be doing this for a year and a half and have products that taste this good is really impressive. And we're actually going to bring you around outside because it's really cool to see some of the malting operation.
So basically what you're looking at is there's 3 big bins. See 1, and then you see number 3, but in the middle there's number 2.
Sure.
Those each can hold about 1 million pounds of barley.
1 million pounds? Wow.
Yeah. Well, probably even a little more than
Yeah.
that because it's almost 30,000 bushels, and a bushel of barley weighs 48 pounds. So I just for round numbers.
Sure.
Okay, so that's the 3 big bins. Now this bin over here, this is what we call our receiving bin. And from the movie that you looked at,
Yep.
there would normally be a drive-over grain deck. You see that black hood that's sitting over there?
Yep.
That's actually where the drive-over grain deck goes into to take grain up the elevator and put it in the receiving bin, which is this one right here, okay? So from there, it goes into this thing back here that looks like a grain bin on the back, which has a overhead door in it. That is our cleaning facility for the incoming grain. There's actually a grain cleaner in there. Instead of building a building, we decided to just drop a grain bin over the top of it, and so inside there is a cleaner that will clean around 250 bushels of barley per hour. Now from there, it goes via this what they call them legs. What's in elevators called a leg.
Legs, okay.
So it goes up this leg back here from the grain cleaning bin and across, and it's dumped into one of those 3 bins. That's when you saw the movie where it said it showed it dropping into the clean bin.
Yeah, sure.
All right, now, so that's basically what you get going. Now, right now, though, we're taking grain out. You saw the part of the movie where grain is moving into.
Yeah, oh yeah, I see it there.
So that's going into the malt house, into the steep,
Cool.
for us to turn it into malt.
No, I mean, we've been to malt houses before, but I have to say, this scale of this one is great, and especially because you guys, this isn't what you've been doing your whole life,
No,
right?
this is
a newer thing.
like I say, this is 1 year old, 1 year old completed. The malt house was completed, say, 3.5 years ago, and everything before that, that's, the computer line.
Is this kind of business the type of business where it's actually more effective to be larger rather than kind of smaller? Does it like scale? So it's kind of like once you start being a malt house, scaling up isn't really, it makes sense, kind of?
So it's kind of, we're kind of.
Smells so good. Smell of that.
All right, so. Conveyor that you saw open, the 2 pipes up there, circular track.
Okay.
It's dropping grain into what's called a flow scale. And the flow scale will then automatically stop when it gets to a certain level, 20,000 pounds, thereabouts, and it's going directly into the steep tank. Now, this is an auxiliary water tank because malting is, I'm sure some people can do it without heating and cooling the water. We found that we have a more precise ability with our malt, and that is got both heating and cooling capabilities. It's just an auxiliary water tank, but it's got a chiller hooked up to it, and behind there, that's a hot water, instantaneous hot water heater, but
Sure.
it does a lot of hot water, so this is also a brewer. Right. I was talking about, this is what a brewer would do.
Very cool. What's in these here? It's just kind of like...
That's copper. You got to have copper in there to get rid of the sulfur in the spirits.
Oh, interesting.
Here's the thing. You probably, you see these big, gorgeous copper stills.
Uh-huh.
Well, you don't need all that copper. What you need is a lot of surface area. And you see, based on those springs, the surface area there is pretty dramatic because the whole glass is filled with that. And
So those are newer springs over there, and these are older?
no,
Like they're just
one
slightly different
has
colors?
been cleaned more recently
Okay.
than we clean them
So you
constantly.
just clean them and then you can reuse them?
Absolutely, for forever.
So, if you're in the local Ohio area and you are looking to really make some amazing products with locally made malt, now you know, right? Come here. So, West Branch Malts, they're selling their malts, they're making amazing things. They roast different malts to different levels as well, they're starting to do. So, really fun. We are so grateful that Tom spent some time with us today, letting us taste through everything.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, and we just had a great time, and we look forward to sharing more about West Branch Malts and Distilling with you in the future. So until then, cheers everyone from Ohio.